I have to say this. California is beyond saving right now. All right, I think this state right now is beyond repairable. I just want it for some reason. I just want is just get it over with. Just let it collapse already. All right, let it collapse right now, so it'll be quicker to rebuild. That's what I think. That's my honest opinion about California. This state is beyond repairable, beyond salvage. All right, and that's the thing with Californians. They're so delusional. All right. Now I understand why people from other state dislike coming to California. I understand why. California is beyond repairable. It need to just scrap it and let it collapse right now. Basically, just let it collapse. I know there's gotta be a lot of heartache, a lot of suffering, but sometimes people need to suffer for them to learn. All right, you cannot learn something until they suffer. Right now, most of the people here are just still living in fantasy world. They think nothing's gonna happen. They think California is gonna survive. California's gonna collapse. I'm telling you. California does not have the infrastructure right now. The electrical wiring, the grid is not that it's not that great right now. Round the house power outage. You know, water, we're in drought. Although we just got a surplus of rain, those water's not gonna go for our municipality, because those waters are probably gonna be released into the river or the ocean. All right, that's what it is. Like, the state is beyond repairable right now. Sometimes I wish it could collapse, because in order for people to learn, they have to suffer. Don't get me wrong. I don't want people to suffer, but people are so hard headed in the state right now. People, they're still living. They're so listen. California is so spoiled. Let's say that, because of their geographical location, they're so spoiled. They don't understand. Although we're going through some rough time right now, we see all these homeless people, and people still don't understand the situation of the state. All these homeless people, more than I could remember during my lifetime living in the state, and I'm a local Californian, right? There's more homeless people. Not that some of these homeless people are not even from this state. They from other state. They see how good it is to come to the state, and we're just handing out free money like nothing, not realizing that the state is broke. Right? The state is broke. We do not have fundings. In order to get funding, we have to declare another state of emergency. This is where we get all this stupid money from. All right, your tax. Not only that, they're gonna raise your tax. Not only raise your tax, they're gonna raise your property tax as well. Sales tax. We're gonna be taxed like crazy. This is not business friendly. You know how much it costs to get a business license in the state of California? It's not cheap. California is not a business friendly state. They tax you to death. Los Angeles think about having another tax, right? Not only state tax, federal tax, but city tax. You think people here have enough money to pay all these taxes? This is why things are so expensive, because all this mismanagement. They've been electing people to position where they're not qualified for. These people that they keep electing, they do not have any business background. They don't know how to handle money. Of course they can spend money if it's not their money. They'll be like, oh, it's not my money, so I'm going to spend it whenever I want. For whatever the city, yeah. But they don't understand the ramification of their decisions. We do not have the budget for this. What's the most recent thing on the news? Reparations? Don't get me wrong. I wish the blacks get paid what they owe, but at the time right now, the state cannot afford it. And reparation does not solve your problems. Money cannot solve all your problems. It solves some problems, but not in a indefinite. For that in the long run, it's a temporary solutions. And to try to get other people to pay for it. First of all, California's not even a slave state. So how is there a slave in California? You know that? California's not a slave state. That's one of the stipulations they made to Congress, to the federal government, in order for the California to join the union, right? They're not a slave state. So how are you paying reparation if your state is not even a slave state to begin with? Not only that, some blacks, their genetics are mixed with white people, Right? What if your genetics lead to a slave owner? So you're just paying yourself? Not all blacks are slaves. All right? Not all blacks have that long of a lineage. That long of a lineage in the state of California. Some of their lineage is less than what, 50 years. Right? And what if you migrate from the continent of Africa to America? Were you ever a slave then? So how do you determine what's what? All these legalities. Right? They're just doing this to appease to the people, and next thing you know, they're gonna get disappointed when they say we cannot deliver these promises. Right? Remember the railroad, the speed train, whatever it is. What happened to that? Oh, we can't build it because some of the land are owned by private landowners. So they've been lying to you the whole time. All right? This is what happened when you listen to the government. They will break the promise to you. You cannot depend on the government to save you. The government will not save you. Only you can save yourself. This is why the California needs to collapse right now, for people to learn. People are so spoiled in the state. There's a lot of spoiled people in the state. They think nothing will ever happen. That kind of mindset. Don't ever have that kind of mindset. Oh, it will never happen to me. You know the old phrase, oh, never say never? The old phrase is never say never. I'm sure a lot of people know that phrase is never say never. So why can't that apply to real life too? California cannot collapse. Oh wait, because we depend on the federal government. The federal government won't let that happen. You know the federal government is about to collapse too? Don't you understand what we're going through right now? All these most of the job that's being laid off is from tech. California, most of the job is from techies. What happened when all these techies can't afford their mortgage? California have a high percentage of tech workers, so they most of them have been laid off by this corporation already. What are they gonna do? Other corporations are following suit. They're laying off people. So what happened if you try to apply for another company and they're not even hiring? So what you can do with that position now? You have to move out of the state of California. Then what happened when people move out of the state of California? That means they have fewer fundings. Fewer fundings to fund their socialistic program. They're cutting off SNAP programs already. They're reducing that already. All right, next thing you know, what's coming up next? The eviction the eviction thingy. That's gonna start next month or this month, I believe. Soon. Right, eviction moratorium. Now it's gonna go back on. Now people can't even pay their rent now. What's gonna happen? It's probably gonna increase the homeless rate. It's bad enough the homeless rate increases during the 2008 bubble. Now it's gonna have another bubble, and what's that gonna lead to? More homeless people. And this is gonna collapse big time. People don't understand the state of California will collapse. It's gonna collapse, all right? And that's the only thing will make people learn their lesson. People will not learn until they suffer, all right? Until they haven't suffered yet, they will continue to vote progressive, all right? They will continue to be spoiled by their politician. They'll be continue to be living in a delusional world. They continue to live in la la land. They think everything's a fantasy. They think everything is free. Not realizing all that stuff is being paid by your money, your taxpayer money. How are they going to be funded? They're going to raise tax on you. Now you have to pay more money. Because you have to pay more money, your savings going to diminish. You're going to have less savings over the long run. They don't understand. This is why I believe in order to save California had to collapse. And that hopefully will make people learn that by their voting habits will make them stop voting for the same politician. That's insanity. You vote for the same thing over and over and expect different results. It's insanity. All right? You have to change your thought process, your patterns. If you want changes, you have to change your patterns. How can you change? How is doing the same thing changes? If you're doing the same thing, that's the same thing. You have to, in order to make changes, you have to change your pattern. This is why California had to collapse, for people to learn. They had to suffer. I mean, some people are in good hands, some people aren't in good hands. But the people who are in good hands, they are in good hands. They already know what to do. It's the people that's not in good hands, they continue to live in their bubble and refuse to listen to logic, refuse to understand logic things, refuse to understand that a collapse will happen. It will happen. California will not learn. This is why I understand people from the South, the Midwest, the Appalachia. They do not like to come to California because of the liberal mindset, the ideology that they have. I'm getting out of the state sooner than later. If it happens, bye, guys. You're on your own. All right? I'm not dealing with this. And that's the only thing I believe will save California if the impending doom happens. You know, we need something like an earthquake, something can trigger it and cascade through the whole states. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen, whether it's a blackout, a tornado, an earthquake. We're due for an earthquake, tsunami, attack. Somehow it's gonna happen. All right, this state is not friendly to people. It's basically a police state. They're not friendly to Americans. All right, they're anti-American. This state is big government. This state is one big government, and I don't understand why do people continue to vote for the same people, living their lives, seeing there's no progression in their community, there's nothing good come out of the community, see all the same thing happen, and they still vote for the same people, thinking that mankind are able to save you. Mankind cannot save people. Mankind are prone to be corrupted. Your politicians are prone to be corrupted. Your politician cannot be perfect all the time. I understand that, but yet again, they're prone to be corrupt by you giving power. And how do you trust your politician? All right, you don't go with them, sleep with them, and live in their household every day. You just blindly take their word for it? No, you have to hold your politician accountable, right? If you don't hold your politician accountable, how do you expect changes, especially in this corrupt state of California, as equally as corrupt as Illinois and New York, all right? These progressive states, all right? That's the same solution for those states. They need to collapse, all right? I'll be fine because I know I'm already prepared. I got my stuff ready to go. All right, I got my bug out bag, you know, everything ready to go. I'm there, all right. Let's just say I'm there, all right. But the majority of the state aren't. The majority of the people in the state of California are still living paycheck to paycheck. Some people are just dependent on the state so much, and especially these people who work these gig economies. All right, you work this gig economy. What if they're not paying you well? What are you gonna do? How are you supposed to pay for all this stuff? Your lifestyle. California had to have an unrealistic lifestyle, right? How are you gonna pay your mortgage when they raise your property tax? Your city will raise your property tax, right? Although you don't have no mortgage, you still have to pay property tax. And what if you're on a fixed income? How are you gonna afford to pay all these taxes? California is the highest tax state. High sale tax, property tax, business tax, all these taxes. They're going to tax you to death. Not only that, they're bringing out foreigners that's taking your job away from you, taking your spot in institutions, taking your spot in schools, taking your spot in your children's schools, inundated the system, reaping the benefit and not contribute to nothing. They're going to say, oh, they contribute in taxes. You know well that's not enough for them to contribute. They'd be lynching off of you, right? People will try to avoid tax as much as possible, all right? But for the law-abiding Californians who's doing the right thing, they can tax you to death if you're a Democrat as well, Democrat or Republican, all right? They can tax you to death. Don't say money's gonna affect you. It's gonna affect you when you see your grocery bills, all right? When you see your grocery bills and you realize that you hardly have enough for savings, gas is going up. Gas is going to be $5, if not more than that. $5, $6, $7. Remember OPEC, they're reducing the supply? Yeah, what does that mean? Your gas is going to go up. So how the hell do you have time to do all these other activities you have in California? How are you going to go to this wine mixer? How are you going to go to a skiing resort? How are you going to go all these resorts that the lifestyle of Californians? How do you afford to go to your Equinox gym membership? You know? How are you going to go to your parties? How are you going to go to your big events? The glitz and glamours. This false illusion that the city's painting. This Hollywood fantasy world, right? It's not glamour as you think. I live in California. I don't go to this tourist attraction. It's not what you think. It's a false reality. This state is a false reality. It needs to collapse for people to understand the kind of situation they're in. They're being spellcasted. They're being spellcasted a lie, a fake lifestyle. It's the same as anywhere else. If California collapse, every other state will collapse as well. We just needed this. It just need to be faster for people to understand. The last time I heard that we have our natural disasters, the rainfall, the snow, right? They use that as an excuse to get federal fundings. And what happened during that time? Gavin Newsom was in Mexico when that happens. You think he cared for you? He don't think. He's in his ivory tower, drinking his mimosas, eating capers and salmons, eating his bagels and lox and all that stuff. Right? It's a false reality. There is a segregation in the state. Right? There's a rich and the poor. The Congress people that was voted to represent them don't even live in their district. And they don't understand that. They refuse to believe that. Maxine Water don't even live in her district. I work at her district. You can see the difference. You see the discrepancy between the poor and the rich. You go Englewood. Englewood is ghetto. Right? One part is Englewood, one part is USC. USC is nice. When you step out of it, it's all ghetto. Afraid of getting shot, you see homeless people come up to you, begging for money. No? It doesn't make any sense. California needs to collapse for them to understand that their lifestyle is not feasible. On that note, guys, thank you for watching.